I'm gonna record. I guess that's okay. We're recording again now. Sorry about that. I had no idea what just happened. Um, so we were talking about point, line, and area symbols. And let me go back to share the screen. And well, that was interesting. So point symbols also include. Let's go to the map of Tennessee and Nashville and environs. And so another example of a point symbol is this teardrop that represents the location of Tennessee State University. This teardrop that represents Nashville International Airport. You know, those are examples of point symbols. So you see these various point symbols around on this map. And notice some of them have little um, symbols buried in them, like this little shopping cart is a grocery store, a fork and a knife is a restaurant, and so on and so forth. So those are all point symbols. Now, line symbol is most likely one of these highways or streets. So you can see these are lines on the map. Now, they are not lines as defined as we define them in geometry. So geometry, geo, earth, meter, measure. Geometry means to measure the earth. Geography means to describe the earth or earth description. So geometry and geography are related. But in geometry, a line is the shortest distance between 2 points. That's not true in geography. In geography, notice these lines are not straight. These line symbols are not straight. Here's a line symbol for a creek or a stream here. And you can clearly see that that's also a line symbol, but it's not a straight line. Last but certainly not least, there are color symbols. There are area symbols. So area symbols come in two varieties. There are color area symbols. So here the area covered by grass and trees is green. Surface water is blue. And so those are a couple of color area symbols. Perhaps if we zoom in more closely, we have these yellow area symbols that are representative of commercial land use, such as this shopping mall here, and so on and so forth. Okay, so those are the various types of map symbols. There are also texture area symbols. There are also texture area symbols that I'll probably show you at a later date. Oh, sorry. Here now this is an example of a texture area symbol. Notice how the area around the Rocky Mountains range and the Sierra Nevada Mountains range and the Basin Range region here. Notice that they appear raised. Here's the Appalachian Mountains. Notice they look like almost like you could feel the texture if you rub your hand across that map. So those are texture area symbols. So those are the three types of map symbols: point, line, and area. And then of course, there are two types of area symbols: color and texture. And so when we look further at the map interpretations assignment, reading assignment, you have several types of isolines, and these are points or lines that connect points of equal data. And so in your list of readings is a link to these instructions for how to read a topographic map. So remember, topographic lines connect points of equal elevation above mean sea level. And so here is a topographic map of, with contour lines. Contour lines and topographic lines are the same thing. You can use them interchangeably. And so here is a map of a contour or topographic map of a hill. And here, this hill, this line here, this topographic line here connects points of elevation at sea level, 0. Then we go to 10 feet above sea level, 20 feet, 30, 40. We get to this bold line that's 50 feet above sea level, 60, 70, 80, 90. Then we get to 100 feet above sea level here, and so on and so forth. So those are contour lines. This map has a contour interval of 10 feet. So there's 10 feet in elevation between each of these lines. And so that's one type of line symbol that you should become familiar with. Also, there's isobars. Isobars are found on weather maps. They connect points of equal barometric pressure. And then isotherms connect points of equal temperature. So this takes us into the textbook a little bit. So we can go into the textbook from here, here, and then here's the textbook, here, and then here. And so we can use, if you're looking for any subject in the textbook, in the online textbook, the index is searchable. So you can just type in isotherm. There it is, isotherms joining places of equal temperature. Click here, scroll down, and here we have a map. And this is an isotherm map. So notice these lines on this map of sea level temperatures all over the earth on average. Notice that this line here connects points that are at 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and so does this line. The area in between is warmer than 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and so on and so forth. So if you notice, this map is a combination between color area symbols and line symbols. So you have colors representing parts on Earth where the temperatures average 77 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year. And as you can see, as we move toward the poles, the isotherms indicate lower and lower average annual temperatures, as you would expect, okay? As you would expect. So those are isotherms. And also, if you look further in the chapter, this is a map of precipitation. And so lines that connect points of equal precipitation are called isohyates. So those are just a few of the pertinent vocabulary words that you should know for the Unit A exam. So you have topographic lines, isobars, isotherms, and isohyates. Also, you have other terms, some of which I've already covered: direction, absolute location, latitude, longitude, isoline, topographic map. A choropleth map is a map that uses color area symbols. So that's what a choropleth map is. We've learned about the 3 kinds of map symbols, and we've talked about GIS, remote sensing, and GPS in here a lot. The other terms we'll get to later on. Also, in preparation for Wednesday, you should take a look at this Geography Basics site. And so pay close attention to the vocabulary words in bold. And even these geomorphology, you should understand, you should know these vocabulary words. cartography, spatial, there's various information that we've covered already. Relative location versus absolute location. And then we'll get into these other lines of latitude and longitude next time, as we continue to explore map interpretation. So that's where we'll pick it up next time as we continue the map interpretation basics portion of the class in preparation for unit exam A. So last but certainly not least, you do have an assignment. Listen very carefully, watch the screen. Notice that the assignment is writing assignment 3. What is geography? It's due next week. So I'm going to go to the assignment itself. And so you'll notice that, let me go to student view so I'll see it how you see it. Okay, so I'm going to go to the assignment itself. And so here's the assignment, the instructions. Notice that the instructions tell you to first peruse the articles found under writing assignment 3. So notice that there were 2 links there. The one that takes you to the assignment and the one that takes you to the readings. So here are all the articles associated with this particular assignment. There are several of them, okay? So your assignment is to peruse those articles, just kind of look them over, examine the history of geography timeline. We looked at that, explored the careers in geography PowerPoint. We did that. There's a video particularly of interest for those of you who are planning on being teachers. It's called Explore Your World, GIS and Education. So you'll read or peruse all that, and then you will write a 600 or more word essay per the items below. Point of information. In my class, when I say write an essay of a certain length and I give you 300 words, 600 words, that's the minimum. That's the least number of words. That's not the maximum. That's not an approximation. That's the least. You should have more than 600 words. You can write as much as you want. But what I don't want to see is less than 600 words. But 600 is a bare minimum. If you can get this done in 600 words, if you're very precise with your writing, fine. If you're more verbose and it takes you more words to express yourself, that's fine too. So the questions that you have to answer in your essay, number 1, do you have a better idea of what geography is now that you've read the articles and et cetera, et cetera? Provide a detailed explanation using the examples from the articles, the video, and so on and so forth. Do you have a better understanding? Yes or no? Obviously, the answer to that question should be yes. But you have to use examples from the articles. You should mention the articles that gave you that better understanding. This is not necessarily a research paper, but it's not an editorial either. I'm not asking you your opinion. I'm asking you to verify that you are more that you have a greater understanding of geography based upon what you've read. Next, using examples from at least 5 of the articles, describe how geography is important in terms of your daily life. Again, this is not an editorial. I want you to either mention specific articles, or you can use some type of citation or bibliography or something, okay? If you have questions about how to do that, let me know. Using examples from the articles, describe ways in which geography may be related to your career plans. And that can be anything. So in this class, we have a civil engineer, yep. Early childhood education, absolutely. Political science, absolutely. Engineer, absolutely. English, certainly, perhaps. Figure it out. So If you have questions, let me know. Again, you should get started on this early so that you can ask questions early. So let's say, really, I would advise you to write a draft of anything you write in here. Just write a draft, like a practice draft, and ask if I'll take a look at it. Dr. Padgett, would you mind taking a look at my work? It's still in draft form. I just want to know if I'm on the right track. I'll take a look at it. I might say, oh my gosh, you're really lost. Start over. At least you know then that you're lost before you turn your work in and get a failing grade. You have time to go back and get it done correctly. Or I might say, this is great. You don't have to do anything else. And you know you're done. You can turn it in and you can go on to work on other things. So I would strongly advise you to do that. Send me a draft of your work so that I can look at it ahead of time before you decide to turn it in. So this assignment is due in the Dropbox next week on Monday. You have plenty of time. If you have any questions, please let me know immediately. If and when you have questions, again, you can contact me by phone or by email, but do so as soon as you have any level of confusion. We don't meet in class. If we were in class, you could ask me a question right now. Dr. Padgett, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. And I would answer you. We're not doing that nowadays. So the onus is upon you. Take on that responsibility to get into contact with me. So do that as often as you like. As I mentioned before, I don't care when you contact me. It can be anytime. Anytime you want to contact me, you can. Weekends, nights, evenings, mornings, doesn't matter. Whenever it's most convenient to you. Okay, so I don't, let's see. So today we're going to, so now I'm going to stop recording. Thank you very much for your time and attention. See you on Wednesday.